Hello everyone, welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I am your IELTS teacher for today, broadcasting to you live from beautiful sunny Budapest, Hungary. Great weather here in mid-spring. Hi Samra, hi Mandeep, hi Satvir. Just a quick check before we get going for those of you who are joining right now. Can you hear me okay? And can you see the board behind me clearly? So if somebody can just tell me a yes, I can hear you, everything's good. Thank you, Khadija. I appreciate that. Thank you. Chahal. Awesome. Lots of people joining in. Fantastic. Okay, so today we are going to be looking at an IELTS speaking example, part 1. We will do a little bit of practice. It's important that you repeat after me. I'll teach you a little bit of grammar later in the lesson. And of course, our materials are coming from our websites where you can find all of our videos. We have 40 high definition videos for all of the sections of the IELTS, as well as lots and lots of these IELTS class recordings. We have over 50 of them. We're loading them up in the next couple of days here. So for academic IELTS, please visit us at aehelp.com when you have a moment. And for general IELTS, please visit us at gieltshelp.com. Now, as I mentioned, today we're doing speaking, so make sure that you can repeat me nice and loud at home. So repeat after me when I say questions and sentences. Practice your English. And of course, I'll give you chances to give your own answers as well. Hi, Tanu. Hi, Bulhar. I'm not sure how to read that first letter, but it looks like a B on my end. All right, so for those of you who have Super Chat in your country, it's the little $ beside the emoji. If you have something important, interesting to say, or a question that you definitely want answered, please pay $1 through your Google Wallet account there, and I can definitely answer those questions for you. If you want to do practice speaking with me or another IELTS native English speaking professional, you can book a speaking practice interview with me. Just send me an email, adrian@aehelp.com. That's through Skype. Just tell me that you want to do practice IELTS speaking, and I'll reply with the steps that you need to take to do that, okay? Good luck, Jeremy, on your test tomorrow. Absolutely. I wish you the best of luck. Stay positive, stay confident, show up to the test at least half an hour or an hour early. Use only English, okay? That's very, very important to do well in the exam. So use English as much as possible. Hi, Priyanka. All right, so as I mentioned, we are looking at speaking part 1 today. This is the question set for today's class. It is about volunteering, okay? So we're going to look at these questions. Let's talk about volunteering. I'll make it a little bit bigger for you so you can see the questions a little bit more clearly. There you are, maybe even a little bit bigger than that. Let's see, there we go. Especially for those of you who are using mobile devices. All right, so for those of you who have not taken the IELTS before, the speaking part of the test takes about 15 to 20 minutes from start to finish. You will be in a room with a native English speaker who will interview you. They will ask you questions. You will also have a part 2 that will be a card that you will have some questions on, then you'll have to speak 2 minutes for, and then some more detailed questions on the topic of part 2. For today, we're going to be looking at part 1. So that is our target, okay? Again, for those of you who are following these live classes, they are available on our YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so you get notice when these live classes are happening. And then after 24 hours, you can find them in our full course, again, on our websites, aehelp.com for academic IELTS and gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. Satvir, April 23rd, that's just a couple days off, so you definitely want to pay attention to this class and study hard, okay? All right, so you get into your IELTS speaking interview, and the first step is you just get asked some general questions. So Thank you, Manisha. That's very kind of you. Thank you for your super chat donation. You're awesome. Again, that supports what we do and encourage us to push forward and help many, many students. So awesome. Sweet dreams. I'm super happy that you're subscribed. You can see those live videos. Okay, girls and guys. So you get into your IELTS speaking. And the examiner is sitting in front of you. Make sure that you stay calm and confident, okay? A lot of students get nervous in their speaking interview, especially because for many students, it's the first time that they speak to a native speaker. Please don't be nervous. Native English speakers often interact with non-native English speakers, so you're not a unique case. Just stay calm and confident. How should you think about your speaking interviewer? So this is a quick review for everyone, but a very important question. How should you think about the IELTS interviewer? Okay? Anybody know, what should you imagine that, who are you actually speaking to? So what should you try to visualize or picture? For those of you who watch these classes regularly, you probably know this. Priyanka says, yeah, absolutely. Think about the interviewer as if it is your grandpa or your grandma. So think of them as your grandfather or grandmother. And really think that way. So actually visualize it, imagine it, picture it. See your grandpa's face and project it onto the face of your interviewer. So have grandpa's or grandma's smiling face. Why should you do that? Why is it important to think about the interviewer as your grandpa or your grandma? Why is this a really good mindset to be in as you get into your speaking interview? Marina, if it's a handsome man, maybe your grandpa is also a handsome man. So just stay relaxed, stay calm, okay? Definitely avoid flirting or being overly friendly in the IELTS speaking interview. Jokes aside, it does actually happen, and it's not a good way, okay? So Tanu says to feel comfortable and not to hesitate, according to Satvir. Alex says so that you explain everything clearly. Yeah, those are all great points. So when you're talking to your grandpa or your grandma, hopefully you have a good relationship with them. You feel comfortable speaking with them. Grandpa and grandma are usually not judgmental towards their children. So they're very accepting in many cases. So it's a good way to feel comfortable with the interviewer. It's a good way to remember that you need to speak loud, clear, you need to give complete answers, and that you don't answer in a way where you think that they know what you know. They're a different generation. In fact, they're 2 generations different from you. They lived in a different time. They don't have the same idea about technology or school or society or social media. So if any of these topics come up, you realize that, okay, I have to speak very clearly and with a lot of detail with these questions, because I'm not just talking to my friend who knows a lot of the same information that I know, okay? So you're doing this because it makes you feel comfortable. You explain clearly and with detail. Speak loud. Make eye contact. And keep an open body posture. Use your hands, okay? So when you're in the IELTS speaking interview, you're sitting at a table, all right? Keep your hands open and above the table. When we're nervous, what we tend to do is we tend to instinctually close ourselves off like this, or put our hands underneath the table, or fidget, okay? Those are not good body behaviors. It is absolutely a bad idea to keep yourself closed, because not only does your voice get more quiet, you're actually putting pressure on your chest, which makes it more difficult to breathe. It increases your nervousness. Breathing is important to stay calm. So you don't want to put weight on your chest, okay? That's not a good thing. Keep your hands open. When your hands are open on the table, above the table, and when you move your hands, okay? Think about an Italian. The spaghetti is a very delicious. Now, I'm very sorry for the Italians out there who might think that was insulting, but I didn't do that for that reason. Italians are beautifully expressive in their language and with their body language, and that's a very positive for good communication, okay? You can see that when I'm teaching, I'm using a lot of hand gestures. That's because using your hands while you speak adds to your intonation, adds to your thinking, okay? Your body and your brain work together. And so you want to do that, okay? Don't be rigid. Don't be stiff, okay? Don't be like a statue. That's not good, all right? You don't want to sit there like a statue, all right? Use your hands. Make your voice project, all right? That's definitely a good thing to do in the IELTS, okay? And eye contact is important as well. It gives you confidence, all right? With grandpa and grandma, you probably sit there comfortably using your hands, all right? So body language is absolutely positive for communication, okay? All right, you're in there, you're comfortable, you're visualizing grandpa, you're breathing, you're confident, and then you get asked some questions. So the first question that you'll be asked is to introduce yourself. So the IELTS examiner will say, "Good day, can I have your name, please?" Okay. Now, what is a good answer for "Can I have your name, please?" Or "Can you tell me your name, please?" There might be a few different ways you'll be asked this question. Okay, you might think it's kind of funny that I ask you such a simple question, but I'm always surprised by how many students don't answer this question well. So what is a good answer for "Can you tell me your name, please?" Prabesh, I'm backlit, and there's all kinds of weird lighting here, so that's why my face might be red. I'll try to get a bit more light on me here. Okay, so Sonia says, "My name is Tamana Aurora." Yeah, absolutely. And usually the second question that you get asked is, "What can I call you?" or "What should I call you?" So if you want to give a really nice answer and start strong, then definitely give your name and let them know what they can call you, okay? So my name's Prabesh Rai. Yeah, give your full name and even include what the teacher or the interviewer can call you, okay? So Shyam says, "My name is Shyam Bhatta, and please just call me Shyam," okay? Okay, so that would be a nice full answer and a strong start to get you going, all right? "My name is Shyam Bhatta. Please just call me Shyam." If you don't say this, then the examiner will probably ask you, "What should I call you?" Just jump that question right away and let them know what they can call you. That will also show them that you were prepared for the IELTS speaking. It will show that, hey, here's a student who's practicing their English. They're probably good at English, and they practiced for IELTS. They have an idea of what's going to happen, so they are producing good communication right away. AFV says, "My name is Ahmed Rakibul Islam, and please call me as Rakib." Exactly. That's a great answer. All right. Now, one of the most common questions that they ask you afterwards is, okay, do you currently work or study? All right? And again, remember, as I'm saying these questions and answers, please just repeat after me nice and loud at home. Of course, with the chat, I can only see what you write. I can't hear your voice. It would be very loud in here if I could hear all of your voices. I can't hear your voice, but I'm confident that you are repeating after me what I say here in my studio and repeating the questions and answers. Please do that. It's great practice for you, okay? So try to keep up with me. Try to copy what I say as much as you can, not just my words, but also my intonation and my pronunciation. All right, so some nice answers coming up for this question. Amar Wadi says, "I work full-time as a lawyer and I have my own office." That's a great answer, okay? It's nice and descriptive, all right? Bemarsh says, actually, I'm a student. I am studying a computer diploma at the something college, at the technical college in my town, okay? Priyanka, again, a good answer. Make it a little bit longer. I'm in my final year of engineering studies at the University of Bangladesh. I'm not sure where you are, Priyanka. I'm just adding what you should add, okay? So, so make sure that you add it. Don't overstretch. Don't overspeak, okay? It's not good to just talk, 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 talk. You want to definitely find an end to your words, but you want to be very comprehensive in what you say. Maria says, I'm a homemaker, but at the same time, I'm studying for IELTS because I'm planning to move to Australia in the summer, okay? So I am a homemaker, but currently I am also studying for IELTS since I have plans to move to Australia next summer. Okay, that would be a good answer, all right? Now, a common question that comes after that, and these are kind of what's called the icebreaker questions, okay? In English, we call these icebreakers. The goal of these questions is to make you feel a little bit comfortable, okay? So the IELTS interviewer knows that when students are very nervous, they're not able to show their true English speaking ability. So they have a couple minutes of what's called icebreakers, and icebreakers are just very general questions that even low-level students should be able to answer in simple ways. They want to make you feel comfortable. They want to get rid of your nerves. So right away, show confidence, okay? One of the common questions that they'll ask you is, okay, when you are not working or studying, what do you do in your free time? All right? So these are just icebreakers, and they're not even really marking you on these. I mean, of course, they're already starting to assess your English, but they're not yet truly marking you on this. They're just getting you comfortable, okay? So can somebody answer this with a nice response? Okay, when you are not working or studying, what do you do in your free time? Okay, Vandana says, I often go for small walks or listen to some good music. Good. Now, Vandana, just reflect the question. Right away, reflect the question. In my leisure time, I often go for small walks and listen to some good music, okay? So reflect that question. In my leisure time, I often go for short walks, is the more natural way to say it. Short walks and listen to good music such as Beethoven, which I don't know how to spell. All right, 2 E's. So give a little bit more detail, give an example, okay, and reflect that question. Now, of course, you see here that the question originally is free time. So I'm paraphrasing free time with leisure time. And of course, the more you can paraphrase the questions that you are being asked, the better your band score, okay? Paraphrasing, as I keep saying over and over again, is one of the major keys to success on the IELTS. Okay, let's take a couple more. Maria Jabbar says, in my free time, I love to read books and magazines, especially National Geographic magazine. Great, that's a great answer, okay? Metin says, in my free time, I would prefer to go to the cinema with my friends and watch some films. I especially like action movies and superhero films like Thor Ragnarok, okay? You might want to add a little bit of an example in there, okay? I like to go out to the park with my son and play catch, Tanu. A little bit more, okay? All right, so you get past these icebreaker questions, and then you start to get into those part one questions, okay? So for IELTS speaking, does anybody know what they're actually looking for to give you your score? So what makes your score in IELTS speaking? And this is obviously important to know because it gives you a clear idea about what you need to study. And of course, this is very nicely defined on our websites at ahelp.com and glshelp.com, so you can learn about it in detail there. So what gives you your IELTS score in speaking? Okay, it's out of a band 9. Maria says cohesion. Yeah, cohesiveness. Absolutely. So cohesion is 1. Okay. Anybody know what else? Kira, pronunciation, fluency, grammar and vocabulary, those are okay, they're details, but those add up into bigger categories. Pronunciation and fluency actually add up to natural speech. Okay, so natural speech is your fluency, it's your pronunciation, it's your intonation, okay, and some more, all right? Anybody else know what else besides cohesion? Lexical resources. Yeah, lexical resources are your grammar and vocabulary. Okay, and cohesion is actually part of a bigger group called complexity. Okay, and complexity complexity is part of the lexical resources. It's not cohesion, but it's coherence. Okay, does anybody know what coherence means? So does anybody know what I mean when I say coherence? Yeah. Georgette says coherent, and that's absolutely right. Sarah says to make sense. Islam says good communication. Indira says logic. Manisha says relevant. Those are all good answers, okay? Those are all good answers for my question. Relevant, makes sense, good communication. Those are all part of coherence. Guess which one of these people have the most problem with? So speech makes sense. Questions are answered accurately. Okay? So guess which one is the one that students have the most trouble with? Coherence, natural speech, or complexity? Which one do you think students usually lose the most marks with? Yeah, probably judging from my 3 asterisks, it's coherence, okay? Coherence is the one that students make the most mistakes with. A lot of students think it's natural speech because of their pronunciation or fluency, but it's not. Most of you actually have pretty decent natural speech. Pronunciation is only as important as the IELTS interviewer can understand what you're saying. If you speak with a Punjabi accent, if you speak with a Portuguese accent, if you speak with a French accent, it's absolutely okay. If I can understand your words, your pronunciation is fine. You can still get even a 9, okay? You don't have to sound exactly like a native speaker. Fluency, okay? A lot of students think that if a student speaks slow at this speed and gives answers at this speed, then they're going to lose a lot of marks because they're speaking too slowly. Not true, okay? Native speakers and humans in general have a wide range of speeds of speaking. In different languages, people speak at different speeds. Some people speak slower, some people speak faster. So there is quite a big range of speed that's acceptable in the IELTS. You can speak quite slowly and still get a very good mark. So natural speech is generally not a problem on the IELTS. That's usually the third, okay? The second is usually complexity. So complexity is the one where students generally have the second level of difficulty, but most students, or many of you, have fairly good grammar skills and fairly good vocabulary, okay? You don't have to have grammar skills of a literature professor in an English university, and you don't need to have the vocabulary of a professor either, all right? The average native English speaker uses roughly 500 words in a day, all right? So it's not a lot. We tend to use the same words over and over again, but of course we use them effectively and correctly. So complexity is not a big problem. The biggest problem is coherence. And I see this all the time because I test a lot of students for the speaking section, and I do those practice IELTS speaking interviews with a lot of students. And the number one problem for low scores that I see is coherence, okay? I'm asking a student a question about what they did on the weekend, and they start telling me about what they did all week last week, what they did last summer, what they plan to do next week, and it's not coherent. I don't want to know about that information. I want to know about what you did on the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, okay, or Friday, Saturday, whatever your weekend is. I don't want to know about all of the other activities on different days, or what your friends did, or what your parents did. I want to know about what you did. And so most of the marks are lost on coherence, okay? There's a reason for this. On IELTS, it is a very bad idea to try to give memorized answers, okay? Some students go into IELTS thinking they can predict the topic. They memorize some expressions, and they try to get a good score by using these expressions or these memorized answers. Now, IELTS will not give you a good score for that. You have to specifically answer the question that's being asked so that the interviewer knows that you are truly speaking English and not just memorizing a lot of different kinds of expressions. So most of the marks are lost on coherence. And so I advise students to really focus on practicing your coherence, okay? So most students lose marks on coherence. So practice giving correct, accurate, complete answers. Okay? If you do not understand the question, it is better to ask for a repeat than to talk about anything. Okay? It is not a good idea to just start talking about anything. So if you do not understand the question, then please just ask for the question to be repeated. It is absolutely okay, all right? Generally, the IELTS examiners will have no trouble repeating the same question. Their instructions are to not paraphrase, but sometimes they'll even paraphrase the question, which will give you extra help. So if you don't understand the question, ask to have it repeated. Don't just think, oh, he asked me about school, so I'm just going to start talking about school. No, no, no. You need to understand what was asked about school. Where do you go to school? What do you do in school? What subjects do you take in school? You can't just talk about school because you understand the word school, okay? You need to understand the full question. How can I ask for the question to be repeated? What is a good English sentence for asking to repeat a question? If you're asked to speak in the past and present tense, in task 2, okay, sir, I'm not sure what your question is there. No, absolutely. So Pets and Craft says, if we ask to repeat the question, do we not lose marks? No. If you ask once or twice or even 3 times during the exam to have the question repeated, you probably won't lose any marks. In fact, if you don't ask to be repeated and you're talking about the wrong information, you will definitely lose marks. Okay? So asking to have the question repeated and answering the correct question is a much better idea than to start talking about the wrong information. Of course, don't do this for every question. Yeah, so I don't want to confuse you here. Please don't start asking them to repeat every single question. Of course, logically, then definitely your comprehension score would be hurt significantly if every single question you ask for a repeat. But you can do it 2 or 3 times for those difficult questions, okay? Okay, Islam, as you said, I can't catch the last part of the question. Can you repeat it, please? Yes, but be careful because then you might only hear the last part of the question. It might be a better idea to get the full question repeated. Shiji, you can absolutely do if you think you understood the question, then you can try to paraphrase it and say, are you asking me? Or so the other way is, or could you please repeat the question once again? That's good. Yeah. Here, I'll give you a nice one. I'm sorry. I didn't catch. Even better, I didn't quite catch what you are asking me. Do you mind repeating the question? So this is a nice long one, but it in itself already shows English fluency, okay? So you can say, I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch what you were asking me. Do you mind repeating the question? And again, girls and guys, repeat after me, okay? I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch what you're asking me. Do you mind repeating the question? Okay, so there's different ways of saying it, but absolutely practice so that you can say it correctly, okay? Now, I've heard some students say this, actually a few different students I've heard say, can you tell me that again? Okay, this is wrong, okay? This is not a right way to ask for a question to be repeated because of the word tell. They're not telling you information, they're asking you information. So please, for some of you students who are used to saying this, please don't say this, okay? This is incorrect English, it's not natural. So if you say something like this, your score does go down because everything you say is being marked. So this is nice English, it helps your mark. This is bad English, it goes against your mark, okay? So when you're doing this, make sure you do it in a correct way, okay? Can you tell me that again, all right? Is not correct, all right? So this is wrong. Okay, this is the correct way. All right, and as one of you just mentioned, if you think you know what the question was, that's the best if you want to get clarity and paraphrase. So just to be clear, what you are asking is, and then paraphrase. So if you can do that, that's great. And then the examiner will probably say, yes, that's what I was asking you, or no, actually what I was asking you is this, okay? And you can also do that. So you can ask the examiner to repeat 2 or 3 different questions, and you can also try to paraphrase 1 or 2 questions that you're not sure of, and then they will repeat that as well, all right? So those are different ways of doing it. Tanu, that's a good way too. I'm sorry, I didn't get you. Could you please repeat the question again? Sure, that's another nice way to say it. Chandra, another way to lead into a paraphrase, absolutely, is did you mean, and then start paraphrasing what you think the examiner said, okay? But again, remember, they are marking you on that. All right, so those are absolutely different ways of doing this. Now, when you answer a question, these are good answers. So good answers for speaking include, okay, 1. So obviously your goal here is to give a good answer to the question, okay? So they include what, why, and example, okay? So a good answer will include what, why, and an example. So it will include your answer to the question, your reason for your answer, and then a good example for your answer, okay? Definitely keep your ears open and focus on the question. Don't think about anything else. Focus on the exam. That's right, learner, all right? So what is your answer? Why is your reason for your answer? Many questions, the exam sheet actually includes the why question after the initial question. And then the example, of course, is generally your how. Right? How it works in your life. Okay, so that's one element that good answers include. What is something else that good answers include? So what is another important point that a good answer includes in IELTS speaking. So it includes the specific what, the reason, the why. Of course, it's dealing with the topic and the controlling idea of the question. What else? If you stop talking for 3 or 4 seconds, cameraman, it's absolutely okay as long as you're using your brain in that time to generate a good sentence. Sentence starters, Kira, can be okay, but they're not going, again, memorized expressions are not going to make a big difference in your score. Staying on topic, absolutely. I mean, you definitely need to do that, Shiji. Your personal experience is your example, Islam. So what else should I include into an answer that's a good answer on the IELTS? What else do you need to know for your good answers? Very, very important here. If you can do all of these, that's great. Emaine says give quantitative information. Yeah, so give quantitative and visual information. Sure, so don't just give qualitative information. So if you say, I play sports often, then follow it up with, I play sports often, I go to the gym 5 times each week. That's quantitative information. Quantitative information is information that we can count, okay? Because often can be different for different people, all right? So yeah, absolutely, that's a good one. Give quantitative and visual descriptive information. What else? What else do I need to include in good answers? Okay, facial expressions are good, just like body language, fit-V, but that should just be natural, your gestures, okay? So, what else? All right, I'll give you a little bit more here. So, reflect the grammar of the question. Okay, so if the question is present perfect, your answer should be present perfect. If it's conditional, your answer should be conditional. If it's looking for adverbs of frequency, like often, always, usually, sometimes, rarely, never, your answer should include that, okay? So reflect the grammar of the question. The IELTS questions are designed in such a way that each different question is fishing for a different type of grammar. It's fishing for the progressive form. It's fishing for using adjective clauses. It's fishing for using past perfect or past continuous. So you need to be able to reflect that. That shows the examiners that, hey, okay, this student can understand past perfect and they can produce past perfect. And if you can do that, that's how you get a score over 7 or 7.5, okay? So that's a really important one. Make sure to reflect the grammar of the question. Many students don't do that. Many students hear the question in present perfect, and then instead of saying the answer in present perfect, they just give a simple present answer. That's not good, okay? You need to use present perfect if the question's in present perfect. Okay, what else? Anybody? So Kira says use different kinds of sentence structures. Yeah, and all you have to do is just reflect the grammar of the question, and you will definitely be using different types of sentence structures or grammar. Anybody else? Oh, Indira, there you go. That's a good one. You're on the right track. Linking words, so linking ideas, and that's that cohesion. So bringing your ideas together, absolutely. And that means using conjunctions. Anybody know what kind of conjunctions you should use in IELTS speaking to get a good score? Yeah, Khaled, there you go. I think you thought of it at the same time as I mentioned it. So use conjunctions. What kind of conjunctions should you use? Conjunctions create complex sentences, Lytton. So when you use conjunctions, you create complex and compound sentences. There are 3 types, Pachu. JS7 says coordinating, like and, but, nor, yet. So correlative, JS7 says absolutely. Those are the paired conjunctions, like neither nor, either or. Right, absolutely. And JS7, I see that you wrote subordinating, but for some reason the chat is blocking your answer, and you are correct, okay? It's gone already, so I can't allow it, but yes, you had that one, JS7. Absolutely. So use your conjunctions, all 3 types: coordinating, correlative, and subordinating. Okay, and practice this at home. If some of you are not familiar with what I just said, if some of you do not know what I mean by coordinating, correlative, subordinating, again, you can find that information on our websites. That's a full lesson, if not 2 or 3 lessons, so I'm not going to get into that right now, but you definitely need to be able to do that to get a good score on your IELTS speaking. Okay, so again, just a quick overview. Good answers for speaking include what, why, and how. So your answer, your reason for your answer, and an example. You need to give quantitative and visual descriptive information as well as qualitative, right? You need to reflect the grammar of the question, and you need to use conjunctions. If you can do all those, and you answer the right topic and the right controlling idea, you will get a great IELTS score. All right, so let's do that now. Let's get into that a little bit with our questions, all right? So let's jump to our speaking questions, and let's focus on these 4 points as we answer them. All right, so here we go. First question, do you do any volunteer work? So can somebody answer this question? Everybody, I recommend you try. Do you do any volunteer work? So answer this question. Again, make sure you give your reason, you give an example, and you reflect the grammar, and you include some kind of conjunction, okay? So try all of that, okay? Reflect the grammar, answer it, give your reason, give an example, include a conjunction, and you can even include some quantitative language. I definitely agree with Emaine. Avoid slangs. You do not need to use slang to get a good score. Usually when students try to use slang in the speaking, it generally hurts their score. More often it hurts their score than helps their score, okay? So, give you a couple of seconds here. Do you do any volunteer work? Try it out. So, Maria, yes, I did volunteer work at school to get experience. Not a good answer because you're using past tense. I'm asking you in present tense. So immediately, that past tense, Maria, did instead of do hurts your mark, okay? You need to say, I don't do volunteer work anymore, but I used to when I was in school. That would be okay, okay? You need to show me that you understand that this is present tense, right? MD Armand says, I do volunteer work. I help people. I want to help people. Okay, but I'm not seeing anything complex in there. I'm not seeing quantitative language in there, and I'm not seeing any conjunctions in there. Khaled says, yes, of course. I'm a member in a charity which brings food for poor people. Sure, you're using an adjective clause, which makes it better, Khaled, but still you need to do a little bit more. Vandana says, yes, I often do volunteer work. I often free tuition, underprivileged children. There were some grammar mistakes there. Again, girls and guys, repeat after me when I say these sentences. Sarah says, yes, that is my passion in life. I like helping people and currently volunteering in Focus, which is an organization that helps blind people. Volunteering makes my life valuable, makes me revalue my life. That was a really nice answer, by the way. Shiji says, well, I've joined a group who carries out volunteer work, especially cleaning parks, planting trees in my town. Okay. All right, so those are some good answers. Here, I'll give you one of mine. Yes, I donate my time 3 times a week at a local soup kitchen, helping to feed the needy, because I believe it is important to give back to society. Okay, so here's my answer. And notice what I'm doing here is I'm including all of those elements of what we need to do in order to get a high score. Now, of course, I'm pushing all of you for a level 8, level 9 score here. So this is what you need to do to get into those really nice high scores. So yes, I donate my time. Donate my time, I'm immediately showing that I have a very clear understanding of volunteer with descriptive paraphrasing. So yes, I donate my time 3 times a week. Immediately, I have quantitative language in there that gives a very clear understanding of my answer. At a local soup kitchen, which is the clear example of what I specifically do, to feed the needy. And then here, I don't forget to include right away my reason, and of course my reason makes this a complex sentence. It makes it a complex sentence with a subordinating conjunction of cause and effect. So yes, I donate my time 3 times a week to a local soup kitchen helping to feed the needy because I believe it is important to give back to society. Okay, so that would be a correct high-level answer to this question. Just repeat after me one more time, okay? Everybody ready? One more time. Repeat after me, nice and loud. Don't just mumble under your mouth. Just nice and or under your nose. Nice and loud. Do you do any volunteer work? Yes, I donate my time 3 times a week at a local soup kitchen helping to feed the needy because I believe it is important to give back to society. All right, so that would be a nice high-level answer. Okay, let's try that for the next one. Here we go. Is it common to do volunteer work in your country? Okay, so again, give me an answer that answers the what, the reason, an example, quantitative language. Okay, and if you can paraphrase, awesome, even better. All right, so I'll give you a couple seconds. Again, do everything that I said, those 4 points, and you will be on your way to getting a nice high IELTS score. Chandra, your answer is okay. It's just got a few grammar mistakes, but the information is good. Okay, Ravinder says, as there are many, don't say too many, as there are many needy people in my country, helping them becomes very easy here in India by providing food and shelter. Answer the question. So indeed, it is very common to do volunteer work. Okay, make sure that you don't just leave the ending of the question to your listener. Include that. Okay. Reno Titus says, it is common to do volunteer work in my country, but one has to come up with the willingness to do it. Okay, nice conjunction there. Include the name of your country. Marina Mint says, yes, in Russia it is quite common to help people and animals if they need it. Because people are very ethical and have a positive outlook towards life. So include your reason. Give me a conjunction there. All right, I can't read that Cyrillic name, but here it goes. Unfortunately, it is not common here. This is because people here possess a different kind of mentality. They're somewhat selfish, but I hope in the future this will change. That's good, okay? Note the differences of my correction. All right. Gary Brar says, yes, people frequently do volunteer work in my country because in India there are a lot of needy people, so donations to the poor are common. All right, good. Let's take one more. Aisha Sultan says, yes, it is extremely popular here because there are a lot of poor people in my country, so there are different volunteer organizations such as UNICEF and so on. Okay, give me an example. And nice job now, girls and guys, of including those conjunctions, those words that are joining your sentence elements together and making them much more fluent. Somebody just asked which institution for IELTS is this? We are an online institution. aehelp.com for academic IELTS or gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. That is our institution. We actually do volunteer work in some sense. This live free IELTS class is a bit of volunteer work on our end to help you achieve your scores, okay? All right, so let me give you an answer. Now, for those of you who forgot to mention your country name, even if the examiner and you are in the same country and they know the country, still mention the name of your country to make it more clear. And again, you can give false facts. It's okay to do that. You can make it up. They don't judge you. Just make sure that they're believable, okay? So yes, people in Canada frequently volunteer. The statistic states that 40% of all adult Canadians do some form of charity work. This is because it is a strongly taught part of the culture. All right, so here I want to show you that you don't need to answer the question in a single sentence. You can do it in multiple sentences as long as you include those elements. So I'm giving my reasoning here, I'm giving my quantitative information here, and I'm giving my what answer here. And this is also okay to do. So if you're getting confused by long sentences, you're making a lot of grammar mistakes, that's fine. Then what you need to do is splice it into more simple sentences. Just make sure to include those key points. So yes, people in Canada frequently volunteer. The statistic states that 40% of all adult Canadians do some form of charity work. This is because it is a strongly taught part of the culture. Okay, so again, repeat after me. I'll say it a little bit slower, nice and loud, girls and guys. Hear your voices. It's good for you. So the question is it common to do volunteer work in your country? Yes. People in Canada frequently volunteer. The statistic states that 40% of all Canadians do some form of charity work. This is because it is a strongly taught part of the Canadian culture. Okay, so there you have an answer. That answer would get a nice high score. All right, let's jump to the next one. And I'm sorry I can't review all of your answers. Of course, then we would be here for a very, very long time. But I'll try to catch as many different students as I can with each of these questions. And I do see that a lot of you are saying your exams are coming up soon, so make sure that you practice. You can absolutely find speaking partners through the chat, through our YouTube channel, and you can also find speaking partners on our websites as well. So make sure you're doing that. All right, let's look at this question here. Is volunteer work rewarding? And of course, here they're asking you for the reason directly. Why or why not? Okay. So try to answer this question. Is volunteer work rewarding? Why or why not? Chris, if you're following this lesson, I've mentioned a lot of different ways to improve your speaking. And of course, you need to practice these by yourself in front of a mirror with a recorder that's on your phone, and of course, with speaking partners. So Sarah says, yes, of course. In my opinion, volunteering is a great opportunity where you can give happiness and joy to people and in turn make yourself a worthy human being. Beautiful answer, Sarah. Very, very nice. If you want to make it even better, if we're really shooting for the stars, you can include an example. For instance, yesterday I helped an old lady carry home her groceries. She gave me the biggest smile and it really warmed my heart for the entire week. So that would be even higher if you threw that example in there, okay? Chandra says, for me, any volunteer work is undoubtedly rewarding because my contribution is overwhelmingly appreciated by the followers generation to generation. For example, I donate a little amount of, and then you keep going, I think, with the answer there a bit, okay? Rawinder Singh says, definitely, it gives self-satisfaction and happiness. Sometimes charity workers are awarded prizes like money and medals. Yeah, those are good. Okay, absolutely. Okay, Minita says, of course, providing some sort of charity results in good consequences because it is a great opportunity to get happiness and a job. Sure, that's a good answer as well. Vigan Yadi Jeffrey, I'm sorry if I can't pronounce your name right. It's a unique name for me. Definitely, not only one can find the meaning of life and also benefit others in need. Very nice, Vegan. So your answer is a little bit awkward, but I really liked how you are including a correlative conjunction in your answer. All right. So Sarah, your answer was fantastic, so don't worry about it. You get an 8 or 8.5 at least for that answer. I was just really giving you the top of the top there, okay? Don't stress about that. I'm just pushing you to a band score 10, which doesn't even exist. All right, so yes, I definitely think that volunteering leads not only to self-worth, but also long-term happiness. When I give my time at the soup kitchen, it lifts my soul to see the satisfied smiles on the faces of the less fortunate. Okay, so here I have a two-part answer in 2 sentences. I'm using conjunctions in both. I'm using a correlative conjunction that was used by Vandani, I think is his name or her name. I'm also using a subordinating conjunction of time in my second one here. So please repeat after me. And notice something else interesting that I'm doing in this sentence. I'm reflecting a previous comment. And of course, that adds even more cohesion to my answers because I already gave the answer that I volunteer at a soup kitchen. And now I'm reflecting back on that previous answer and using it in a different content. Or context. So that's giving even more cohesion to my speaking. Now, girls and guys, again, don't stress if you can't talk exactly like this on your IELTS exam. I am really pushing you for those super high band scores. I'm trying to show you the ultimate way to get the score you need, okay? But if you can even get close to what we're doing here, you will be doing fine, all right? Okay, so here we go. Repeat after me, nice and loud. Hear yourself. Is volunteer work rewarding? Why or why not? Yes, I definitely think that volunteering leads not only to self-worth, but also long-term happiness. When I give my time at the soup kitchen, it lifts my soul to see the satisfied smiles on the faces of the less fortunate. Okay? All right. Yagnesh, idioms can boost your score if they're used correctly, but in most cases, students use them incorrectly, so please avoid them. All right, so let's jump to the next question, rolling along nice and smooth. What do you think is the best way for a person to give their time? All right. Can anybody give me an answer for this? Again, include some conjunctions. Make sure you're specifically answering the right question. Give a what and a why and an example. Stay on course. And maybe use a little bit of quantitative language too if you can. Give you a few seconds to give me a good answer there. And if you are not sure, then you can buy some time by saying, that's an interesting question. Please give me a moment to think. Okay, so it's absolutely okay to buy time on IELTS and to use a statement like that, okay? You will not lose marks, and then take a couple of seconds, 3, 4, 5 seconds is absolutely okay. In a situation like this, you have 15 minutes for the interview, so thinking for 3 or 4 seconds for a question like this to give a good answer is absolutely okay, all right? So if you can't think of something right away, ask for time. That's an interesting question. Please give me a moment to think, okay? You still have, your fluency is how fluently you speak. It's not about you need time to speak or not, okay? Okay, so what do you think is the best way for a person to give their time? So Nargiza says, I think one of the best ways for anyone to give their time is to help the elderly. Often this group in society is neglected, so taking them for walks or just sitting down to play a game of chess is a very positive action. All right. Sarah Isa says, although people may be busy in their daily lives, I'm sure, don't use but with although, Sarah. Although and but should not be used together because they're both showing contrast. So although people may be busy in their daily lives, I'm sure the best way would be planning a day each month to give it to someone in need, such as orphaned children, the mentally handicapped, or stray animals. Okay, Hike says, the most common way to donate time is to help vulnerable anytime. I think volunteer is what you're trying to say there. It's a bit awkward, Hike. You need to get into that a bit more. Mukta says, according to me, the best way to give people's time is to extend help in social problems in their countries, such as troubled teenagers who live in families where there's abuse or drug problems. Okay, Mukta, just give a little bit more and it's a great answer. Amar Wadi says, I believe that it is a good opportunity to donate to charity and help the poor, because when we increase the welfare of the less fortunate, all of society benefits. For instance, okay, so give a little bit more, all right? Okay, those are all good answers. There is no perfect or right answer. It's just a matter of opinion, all right? It's just a matter of your opinion. So, okay, that's an interesting question. Please give me a moment to think. Well, I suppose one of the best ways for anyone to donate their time is to help the elderly, because this group is often neglected in society and they had given so much during their youth. For example, taking an older person on a walk to the park twice a week. Okay, so here is a nice, long, descriptive answer. Just repeat after me. What do you think is the best way for a person to give their time? That's an interesting question. Please give me a moment to think. Well, I suppose one of the best ways for anyone to donate their time is to help the elderly, because this group is often neglected in society and they had given so much during their youth. For example, taking an older person on a walk to the park twice a week. Okay, so that would be a good answer. You're using conjunctions again, you're including the example, you're using quantitative language, you're using this expression to buy time. That's absolutely fine. All right, one more question. Let's finish strong, girls and guys. Has anyone volunteered to help you in any way? Just to be clear, you are asking me if any stranger has given me their time free of charge to help me out. And then the answer will be yes, that's what I'm asking you. Yes, that's right. Okay, so here I'm showing you a little bit of paraphrasing when you want to get some clarity on the question, all right, including a little bit of that information from earlier in the lesson on how you can get some clarity. Khan, it does not reduce your score when you ask for a moment to think. especially if you use that time to think of a good answer. If you start speaking right away and your answer is poor and you're going off topic, then your score is going to go down a lot more than if you ask for a little bit of time to give a good answer. Many of these questions are not questions that we are trained to answer quickly, so it's absolutely okay to ask for a bit of time. Okay, so here we go. Last question, rock and roll. Guys and girls, give me a nice answer. Include some conjunctions. Stay on target. Give me an example. Has anyone volunteered to help you in any way? So just to be clear, you're asking me if any stranger has given me their time free of charge to help me out? All right. Good one, Colette. I like it. Yes, Mr. Adrian is a kind man who has given me valuable information on how to get a good band score in IELTS, and I appreciate his efforts a lot. He has done this free of charge on a YouTube channel called Academic English Help. Absolutely, Colette. That's a brilliant answer. Yeah, it's very good. That works. Absolutely. Yeah, maybe I'll use that because it will remind students of where to subscribe to get notifications of other live lessons like the one tomorrow where we'll be continuing with part 2. Absolutely. But I want to give a few more students a chance to answer this. Yes, I remember. This is Vegan Jadi Jeffrey. Yes, I remember the very first time I tried ice skating. 2 strangers just came up and held my arms to help me. That was an amazing moment for me in my life. They definitely volunteered to help me out. Okay, good. Yeah. Girls and guys, a little bit of a reminder here. What is the grammar of this question? Pay attention. This was kind of a tricky little last question here for you because there is a kind of grammar that's included, and I want to make sure that your answer also includes this grammar. Okay? And at this point, you should be clicking in that this is present perfect. So your answer should have present perfect. Okay, yes, in my final year of schooling, I had met with an accident and had an elbow injury because of which I could not take notes. During those days, one of my friends had volunteered to take my notes. Now, you're using past perfect there, Nanditha, which is good. If you use past perfect, and it makes sense for the present perfect, it will work, okay? But ideally, you want to use present perfect. And look, I'm already doing it in my paraphrase. So that's why this paraphrase is so strong, because already with this paraphrasing, I'm showing the examiner that I understand the grammar of this question, right? So just to be clear, you're asking me if any stranger has given me their time for free to help me out. So has given me their time for free already has that present perfect in it. Vandana says, unfortunately, not up until now. Yes, some strangers have guided me to find an address. I think I may receive more in the coming future. Sure, you can say that. Vandana, to make it a little bit more clear, you could say, unfortunately, not up until now. Yes, some strangers have guided me to find an address. However, I don't truly consider this to be volunteering. Nevertheless, I think I might receive more in the coming future, such as in these live IELTS classes, which are free for you. Absolutely. Now, if you like these classes, then definitely do join our full course and get lots more of them. Okay, I'm going to steal one of those clever first questions there. I think it was Khalid that gave me that answer. Indeed, I have been helped through volunteering. In fact, a teacher named Adrian has taught me much for IELTS on a free live stream at Academic English Helps channel. Okay, using that clever answer there, if you can draw from real life experience, absolutely a good way to do it. So repeat after me. Has anyone volunteered to help you in any way? So just to be clear, you're asking me if any stranger has given me their time free of charge to help me out? Indeed, I have been helped through volunteering. In fact, a teacher named Adrian has taught me much for IELTS on a free live stream at Academic English Helps channel. Okay, so good information there. Notice that have been helped. I'm reflecting that present perfect here. I'm reflecting that present perfect here. I'm reflecting that present perfect here. I'm reflecting present perfect 3 times in my answer. Now here, the IELTS examiner will say, good job. You've just shown me that you are absolutely in control of that present perfect grammar. Yeah, you can include the duration, Yagnesh, if you want to get more quantitative as well. This will suffice, all right? So if you can answer these questions in such a way as we just did, you will be on your way to a beautiful high band score in IELTS. Now, all of this information that I just taught you is available on our YouTube channel, okay? So for those of you who are new, please make sure to join us. Join the full course, aehelp.com, gieltshelp.com. That's where you can get our entire video library. We just sent out a coupon in a newsletter called Success 35. It's a 35% discount. It's one of our best coupons. So I'll put it up here for you as well, for those of you who didn't get that newsletter. Success 35, it gives you a 35% discount. This coupon's only available, I think, for 4 days. So use it quick because it won't be around for at least a few months. So you can use that on our websites. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining today. Tomorrow, we're going to continue with part 2. This time, part 2 will be talking about a place, a famous landmark in your country. So we've talked about people, we've talked about events, we've talked about objects in the last couple of weeks. We haven't talked about places in a while. So the part 2 topic for tomorrow's class will be talking about a location, a landmark in this case. So please join if you have time. It will be at the same time tomorrow, 16:30 Central European Budapest time. Same channel, of course. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Again, for practicing IELTS speaking, email me, adrian@aehelp.com, and we can set up a session. Okay, use your super chat if you want to support our channel. We appreciate that as well. Thank you so much. I hope that all of you learned some great information today and had a good chance to practice some of your English, repeating after me. And again, you will have this live class available for the next 24 hours. After that, it goes into our full course on our website. Thank you, Marina. It was great to have you in class as well. You're very welcome, Prabesh. We do have class Amarawati tomorrow and on Sunday. Weekend for me is Monday and Tuesday. That's when less students are available, so those are the days I take off. Yeah, absolutely, for those of you who are staying up late and it's late in your countries, have nice dreams. Get a fresh start to the day tomorrow. Good studies and good luck to all of those who are taking your IELTS exams in the next couple days. Bye for now.